and I am going to hand it off to our, not that way, to our Associate Dean for Academic Programs.
Thanks, Laura. And thanks to everybody for joining us today. My name is Julie Traxler. I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Programs. And what that means is I oversee all of the academic components for the students at the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. Happy to join you today, and we're happy to have you come chat with us because we know that May 1st deadline is looming. So some of you may be making final decisions. Maybe you've already made them, but have some follow-up questions and just want to get more clarification about your options. So a couple quick things just about me to make me a good resource for you. I'm a general advisor, so I can talk with students about all of the 21 majors that SEBS offers. I also work with health professions, and I did notice that a number of you have some health professional interests in the chat. I also work particularly with veterans and military affiliated students. But again, today's session is really, we're going to try to kind of not have it be directed, by us with a long talking head session, but really be a time for you to get to ask questions, to get to really meet our students. We've got 4 amazing students here to talk with you about their experiences and hopefully answer your questions. And there's 3 additional of my colleagues here to also help us with clarifying questions and just helping you with anything that you need. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. Let me start with Dean Carlson.
Hi, I'm Penny Carlson, and I'm an assistant dean and general advisor in the Office of Academic Programs. And I guess I'll throw in, I was a student here and majored in animal science, and then went on and did my master's work in our ag economics program. So I specialize in business students and environmental and business economics, but general advising too.
Dr. Hyunjin Yo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hyunjin Yo. I'm the program coordinator for the Office of International Programs, and our office works with study abroad students as well as international students. So if you're interested in study abroad programs, then come to our office.
And Dean Joseph Ventola.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Joe Ventola, one of the assistant deans in the Office of Academic Programs. I work with all students. We all do a lot of things together with a number of student programs and so forth. And I've specialized in biology major area. And I also help with the school scholarships for SEBS in the sophomore, junior, and senior years. And so any questions on those areas or any other things, we're here to help you.
Okay, great. We're going to turn it back over to Laura to introduce you to our students who really are going to be the best source of information for you about life at SEBS and on our campus.
I apologize for that. Technical difficulties. Let's go back to where I was.
It's been a year for most of us with technical difficulties, but yes, here we go.
Okay, here we go. All right, so I am going to allow the students to introduce themselves and share some fun facts about themselves so that you can get an opportunity to get to know them a little bit. So Belle?
Hey guys, my name is Belle. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm an out-of-state student currently studying dietetic option. I'm a junior and I have the tuxedo cat.
Thank you, Belle.
Me too. Tuxedo cats rule. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to maneuver. I apologize. Okay. All right, Lily.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Lily and I'm a senior studying environmental science with a focus in environmental health. And I have also started my Master of Public Health through the Rutgers School of Public Health. I enjoy listening to music, hiking, and cooking in our new quarantined free time. And I am also a member of the varsity swimming team at Rutgers. So I'm looking forward to speak with all of you today.
Thank you, Lily. And yes, I think we've all learned different cooking skills during this quarantine time. Okay, Serena.
Hi everyone, I'm Serena and I'm currently a junior and upcoming senior and majoring in biotechnology and also sociology. And I love horseback riding and like Rutgers have very diverse group of different kind of activities and equestrian team is one of them. And I love taking classes with the team and we have all of the competition. And yeah, I also enjoy hiking and outdoor activities.
Great, Serena. Thank you so much. All right, Victoria.
Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria. I'm a senior here majoring in biological sciences and double minors in psychology and health and society. I'm excited to answer any questions that you guys have today.
Perfect. And Victoria, I see you love reading and martial arts and true crime podcasts. All right. Thank you very much to all of our students for the introduction. And now we actually want to open up the floor to you guys, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So please feel free if you have any questions for our students or our deans regarding student life, housing, anything that you may have that will help you in deciding whether or not you would like to come to the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. Please feel free to either put it in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask the question. Don't be shy. You do not have to turn your camera on either if you're asking the question. Okay, so one of the first questions I see, Ashley, are all our classes on SEBS campus? So would one of the students like to take this question?
Sure, I can go first. I would say during the first two years when you're doing most of the core curriculum classes and maybe some of the classes are not upper level electives yet, they can be spread out on all 4 campuses. However, you do have the opportunity to pick certain sections that are offered on your favorite campus. So for example, Bush, Tufts, the SEBS campus, Livy. So you can kind of customize it to your preference.
Would anyone like to add anything to that? Lily?
Yeah, I can comment too. Like Victoria just said, the lower level courses are spread throughout because they're often, large classes that need to be held in a lecture hall. But, as you make your way up, then you will generally be primarily at Cook, which is the SEBS campus. And also, it may seem daunting to have a class on a different campus, but the bus systems are amazing and you can get to and from your different campuses, different locations on each campus, very easily. So if not having all of your classes on SEBS isn't the end of the world.
Right, and I'll add, if you have a major like EPIB or one that's specific to SEBS, that then all of the classes taught by your department is going to be on the Cook Douglas campus.
Thank you. So I actually see your question here, Pratama. She says, I got accepted into both SEBS and SAS, and I was wondering what are the differences between the 2 campuses. If she's majoring in physical therapy, is there a difference in classes?
Shall I jump into on that one? And then if any of the other students have a say on that. I can tell you we don't have an undergraduate physical therapy program. PT is done at the graduate level. So primarily students interested in PT do either the exercise science or the biological sciences majors. Both majors are shared between SAS and SEBS. So it works that you've been admitted to both places. You can do both majors at SAS or SEBS. No differences in the majors. The majors themselves are exactly the same courses, same locations, all of that. The one small difference is that SEBS does require you do an experience-based education, but if you do exercise science, you do have to do an internship that's part of the major, so that counts as your experience-based education. For biological sciences, there's a lot of options and students do research or coursework or study abroad. In fact, I'm sure Dean Ventola can tell us about some common things. I will mention there is conventionally students who come in will do one of those two majors. You can technically do another science major and still prepare well for PT, but you'll want to be connected probably for some of the experiences, particularly through the exercise science department. I'm not sure if any of our students have had any similar experiences with either of those majors, or if Dean Ventola wants to talk a little bit about what bio students do toward their experience-based education.
Sure. Thank you, Dean Traxler. Yes, the biology major is exactly the same as the biology major at SAS. Again, the difference is the school requirement is a little different, being that yet they have to do experience-based education component. And the experience-based education component can range from, we have some students do what's called their George H. Cook their senior year with research with a professor. We have students do independent studies, internships, a RESTI program open to all students. We have people do work outside and get credit through the spin office in major companies. It's really kind of open, and it does happen where a good number of students not only do one experience, they actually do a couple, or sometimes even more, sometimes in their summer, sometimes during the year. So there's a lot of things happening at Rutgers, of course, inside the classroom, but just as importantly, outside the classroom, when you'll be able to meet a lot of professors and a lot of staff. We have a small community, very supportive, and you'll be able to, get to know your professors, and part of getting to know your professors is when they're looking for students to work in their labs, you'll be able to do that. So it's a really good experience for our students.
Would any students like to add? Sorry, Dean Carlson.
No, I can say I just see Ashley's question. So if none of our students have any idea, I'm pretty familiar with that and can answer her question. Unless someone wants to add something on experience based.
Yeah, so if any student would like to add anything regarding the experience-based education, and then we can definitely address Ashley's question. Serena, did you have something? I saw you unmuted yourself.
Oh, yeah, I saw one question from Ashley about the pre-vet concentration and also the changing major parts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not a pre-vet or animal science major, but I'm in biotech. And I used to be a biological science major. And so the transition parts is quite easy because when you actually have all of the advisors here available for you to set up an appointment to talk about what classes do you need to take, to switch to the other major. And for me, you simply just filled out a form online, and that is for a major in, I think it's called mymajor.rutgers. And you can fill out that form, and you will ask you what's your current major and what is your minor that you want to declare, or a second major you want to declare, and you can all do that from that form. And after your form get reviewed, and they will contact you about the switching major and additional information that you need. And I think the only challenge during the transition is to just watch out for what kind of classes you need to take in terms of your graduation time. But that one can be solved by setting up an appointment with your academic advisors and to talk about your program.
So let's talk a little bit about our animal science major, and especially how it prepares you for vet school or graduate programs. First of all, I think most of the students that get into vet schools from a New Jersey school probably come out of our animal science program. The vet schools really do like our students, because not only do they get a strong science base, which some of the schools that specialize in kind of horseback riding and animal husbandry don't have such a strong science they don't give you such a strong science background. Our science courses are hard, but the vet schools like that. It very much prepares you for veterinary school. But we also have the farms, and our animal science program has practicums where students have to take an animal science practicum where they're actually involved with taking care of the animals down on the farm. So you can work with goats, you can work with sheep, you can work with horses, pigs. So you get practical experience working with animals, and you get a really strong science background that some of the other schools don't offer you. And that's great for research or graduate school too. Yeah, changing majors is easy. You don't come in and declare your major right away. So any basic life science major is going to need biology, chemistry, and math. And of course, everybody needs English as their foundation courses. So you declare your major in your second semester, and you could change your mind at that point and easily be prepared for any other science major. But other majors too. And you can even switch schools if you decide to do something completely different.
I also want to add something to what Dean Carson mentioned about animal science majors. And we do have animal science study abroad programs in Belize, and a lot of animal science students go study abroad during the summer, and they actually have a hands-on experience working with local vets and in the zoo. And I know that the grad school loves that hands-on experience in the application.
Yeah, and I've heard great things about that experience from students. I teach a photography course, and I've gotten a lot of students from that, and they love that. Lily was in that course, in fact.
Yeah, and then we do, our office do offer a generous amount of scholarships for study abroad students.
Awesome, thank you so much. Ashley has a follow-up question. Is that included with their tuition, or is that out of pocket? Or study abroad, I'm assuming you mean, Ashley?
If you're asking about study abroad programs, it is not included in your tuition. It's separate, but like I said, our office offers generous amount of scholarship that covers half of the program fee. So that's something that you can apply for. And also the Rutgers Global Study Abroad Office has scholarships.
Great, thank you very much.
I can talk about that real quick too, just from personal experience. I was supposed to study abroad last spring break in Costa Rica, and I had received one of the scholarships, and it was 50%, which was great because it seemed more, it was a lot more manageable. But then unfortunately that was when COVID happened. But the whole process of applying for study abroad and applying for the scholarships was it was a seamless process. I could do it, in between classes, and I've only heard great things about it as well.
Great, thank you so much. So I don't see any more questions on the chat as of now, but please, as you think of them, drop them into the chat box. I am just going to throw a question out to the students.
Oh, did we talk about, Max had a question about natural science and engaging people in community activities and things like that. I don't know if we had tried to jump into that.
So it looks like Lily and Joe, Dean Ventola he was asking what major would be best for him. Mm-hmm. Did you want to go into that a little bit further?
I know when Max came in, he mentioned EPIB, and I think EPIB is such an amazing major here, just in terms of what it brings together. And I think kind of that so many of our students come in and they have this unformed idea that I know I'm good in sciences, I like sciences, I know I'm really focused on the environment and on sustainability and on, in many ways, saving the world in every way that I can. It's one of the things I love about our students is they come in with often that real focus and kind of what do I do here and how do I take that into the world in ways that are going to be positive. So I certainly think the EPIB major is a great one, but I also really feel like it's okay to be undecided. we're a really great place to come when you're undecided. And I think Serena mentioned that about changing your major and shifting things around. So you don't have to feel like you're locked into a plan yet. And so many of our students have found their way during their time here, had opportunities, discovered a minor in sustainability, and really gone on to do some really amazing things. I thought maybe I'd ask the students if they could tell us about something that they became aware of once they were here, that really became an important part of what they're doing for their degree and onward into the world.
So why don't we have Victoria first?
Sorry, I keep seeing everybody unmuting and I don't want to interrupt anybody, but I think from my experience, sometimes you can't find a major or a specific program that encompasses everything that you want to do in your career in the future. And sometimes it's really hard because you have something that's abstract, but it's not a science. So sometimes you can't major in it. For example, one of my passions is increasing diversity in STEM. And there is no major for that or minor for that. I think it's really important to also see what extracurriculars are offered here at Rutgers that fall in line with your interests and passions, because you can use that to help boost your whole experience as a student and how you present yourself as a candidate if you're applying to grad school or a job or an NGO or some type of nonprofit. You can really mix and match whatever you do here at Rutgers that are not necessarily academic programs that can suit all of your needs. So just keep that in mind. I think Max asked that question, that it doesn't necessarily have to be all encompassed in one major. You can have a major in something and be a president of this certain club, and together you can help, build your portfolio, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you very much. Would another student like to input on that? No? Okay.
I can add on.
Oh, sure.
So I feel like from high school to college is like a very big transition. You might be like freaking out about like deciding on a major, but it's actually not that big of a deal. So I was admitted to both SEBS and SAS like 3 years ago, and I decided to go with SAS. I don't know why, but I did it. But I did like bio for the first 2 years of my college, because growing up I always thought I wanted to be a doctor, but people will change and you will too. So it's okay to not sure about like what you want to do. You can just like explore, like take a few other classes, figure out what you want to do. And changing major is not that complicated. Dean Traxler actually helped with my transferring application from SAS to SEBS. And the only like big difference I have noticed about like transferring from different schools to like another school is that for SEBS we actually have our own core curriculum to follow. So that was my only issue with transferring. So I had to set up a meeting with Dean Carlson the past winter to figure out like whether I should take like more core classes during the summer to like not delay my graduation year, but everything works out.
Thank you, Belle, for sharing that experience. So I know with us now coming back on campus, which is exciting for those students who are not graduating, right? That you'll still be on campus, will actually get an opportunity to see the campus and be a part of the campus and the community that is so well loved and creates such a space for you as students to grow and connect. Even though virtually there has been opportunities for our students to connect in many ways, obviously in person, it will bring on another layer of opportunities. So for the students who've actually gotten an opportunity to dorm on campus, I know that this is often a question that incoming freshmen have, is how, first, do you need to dorm on SEBS? Do you get to select your roommates? And what does a dorm look like? So anybody who's actually gotten the experience to live on campus, if you could share your experience.
I can go first. Ooh,
yeah.
Sorry, Serena.
Sorry.
You can go.
Okay. Yeah. So first year students are required to live in a dorm But it was really a very interesting experience. I personally feel that it helps you build your connection with the campus and also with people surrounding you. And I basically made all of my friends like within that same building. And I do think that dorms, well, there's a lot of different types of dorms you can choose from. You know, we have like apartments where you can have like a double rooms with people, and then you also have a little private space, like a living rooms, and then you have your own kitchen. And and for some students, they only want just like a little bedroom. And we have single rooms, double rooms. It's really it suits all different types of people's needs. And, you know, and we have a very amazing bus system, which is usually very close to your, you know, dorms. And I think the first year I was living in Cook and Douglas, it was taking me, I don't know, like 2 minutes to get to the bus stop. And it's very convenient to travel to buildings. But most importantly is to build that connection and make friends and, you know, join the events that they have within that building. And, you know, I think it's a very good experience for college students.
Victoria, I think you had something to add. Thank you, Serena.
Yeah, just to echo what Serena said, I don't believe that all first-year students are required to live on campus. I think you can choose. My experience is a little bit different because I'm also in the Honors College, so we were required to live in the Honors College dorm on College Ave. So a question that I might want to answer now is that you won't necessarily live on Cook or Douglas your first year, but you can choose to live on that campus in later years. In terms of selecting a roommate, I came in to Rutgers with my childhood best friend as my roommate, and you have to make sure that you request each other during the application. I don't know if the application is still open, but if you have somebody in mind, even if you meet them on a Facebook group or something that you want to live with them, you have to make sure you request each other so the housing office can pair you. No matter what dorm that you're in, you are always maybe a 5-minute, probably less walk from the bus stop. You can get anywhere that you need to go from your dorm. In terms of what dorms look like, usually first years is one bedroom, and you have your bed on one side, your roommate's bed on the other side. You guys get a micro fridge, which is a mini fridge and a microwave, and you guys both get dressers and desks. It's really comfortable. So I wouldn't have any concerns about living here if you're dorming your first year.
Would anybody else like to add to that?
I have something, Laura.
Yes.
We do have a unique alternative that is going to be open in the fall. We're really excited. It's called Hellier House. And so the application is online. It's a little bit competitive. We ask you if you are interested in living in a cooperative living situation. Basically what that means is that students in the house actually are responsible to do their own cooking and cleaning. And it works really well, and students come out and graduate and have really good people skills. And another requirement is that you have to have financial need. So if you are interested, you can go to the website. My email is on the website as well, and you're always welcome to email if you had any more questions. So just another thought about a place to live next year.
Great, thank you very much. So Rachel has a question regarding what resources are there for transfer students and SEBS. I just want to check in if any of our students are actually transfer students. No, okay. So maybe if Julie, you can take this question.
Sure. There are two pieces that I particularly point out for new transfer students. One is that you'll be connected to your faculty advisor right away. So when you join us in the summer for your STAR Day, which is your first advising and registration day, you're going to be working right away with advisors in the department. You'll also be working closely with advisors here, a number of our general advisors. So for you all, it's nice because you're connected right away. They'll be helping you with planning out and getting you registered for your fall courses, making sure that you hit the ground running so that your credits all come over. The other thing that we've been doing is a transfer workshop. So we run a workshop across the semester, particularly at those pressure point moments where we know that there's things going on that you're going to need additional information because they may not be exactly the way they were at your previous institution. So certainly we do things right around registration, around deadline dates. We also use those as a way to get you connected more with some of our resources. So our Learning Center on campus, our Career Services Center. So there's so many resources at Rutgers, and we recognize that our transfers have been strong students, but we know that you don't have the background in Rutgers. So we've tried to build in a number of those other opportunities to make sure that you're getting that information, hopefully at the time when it really is useful to you. You know, we know the first week of classes isn't really when you need to know about updating your resume and thinking about internship. So we do like to kind of roll those out through the semester and help you stay connected to us. And beyond that, certainly transfer students have access to all of the other resources and connections throughout SEBS and the university.
Thank you, Dean Traxler. Okay, so here's a general question for our students. What was the biggest adjustment that you experienced as an incoming freshman? We can have two of our students address that. What was your biggest adjustment?
I can go. I think my biggest adjustment was just how, the intensity of courses picked up. It seems like you're not doing as much because you're not in school from 7 to 3, but then, you're still taking just as much, if not more intense courses. And it wasn't a hard adjustment. It was just something that, happens to everyone. And, you might stumble a little bit, but you always end up finding your feet and, heading back on the right track. So, I did kind of struggle a little bit with that first semester, but then, like I said, I got back up and kept running and, better for it today.
Thank you, Lily. Serena?
Yes. My first year experience is, I think the most important things is that I finally felt like I can take classes that I want. And I think it's a very amazing opportunity when you first just enter college, and especially for students who don't really know what they want to do, or, I went undecided about my major. So like when I first entered college, I trying to pick some classes that I felt like I'm very interested in, something like human behavior, like a computer science type of class, and whatever you like, you can all find some suitable course that you can take as an introduction classes, and then you can find out if you want to go with that major. And besides that is, like in high school, you kind of really have a lot of people like your teachers and your parents or your advisor, counselors. They're all like helping you out with like planning out what you're gonna do. But like in college, I think this is very interesting where you have more freedom, but you also need to have like a general idea of, I need to be more like thinking about what I'm gonna do. So it's more like you as the person to make adjustment and decision for your life.
Thank you, Serena. I think that's definitely something important to take on as a college student, right? You have more responsibility. It's a great thing. You have a little bit more freedom, but then you definitely have more responsibility in making sure that you learn how to advocate for yourself as a student and connecting with faculty, with other students, with clubs. The more that you get connected, the better you'll make your experience, because you'll be able to have support and guidance as you move along, which it can be scary as an incoming freshman, but our school, because of our size, we really do create more of a homey feel for our students to be able to connect easier with faculty, staff, other students, etc. Belle, I saw you unmuted yourself. Did you want to add something to it?
Oh yeah. So for my first year, I struggled so bad. So my grades were like they were not pretty. But Rutgers provide like very great academic like resources. So I remember that so I reached out to my advisor. Oh, so this is a really important thing in college that you have to like reach out, because no one's gonna be like taking care of you, like looking at your grades and telling you to do like this and that. So you have to like reach out if you ever need help, and that applies to going to office hours as well. So I'm so glad that I reached out to my advisor at a time, and she helped me through my every step of the way, and now like I'm like doing so much better.
Thank you, Belle. So yes, you'll be assigned advisors. So it is important for you to connect with your advisors to help you along the way when you're planning classes. Did any other student want to add something specific to that? What was the biggest adjustment? If not, if I can have a couple students answer, why did you choose Rutgers?
I can talk about why I chose Rutgers. I'm from New Jersey, and my dad went to Rutgers, my aunt, uncle, cousin, everyone did. And I did not want to go to Rutgers because I wanted to, move away from home, go far away, live a glamorous new life and all of that. But I toured the campus and really loved how diverse the campuses themselves were. I could go to Cook and, get this very kind of green, foresty feel, but then I could just, take the bus and be in College Ave, which is a traditional college setting with a little bit of a city flair. And then the same goes for Bush and Libby, where they all have their own characteristics and vibes. And I really like that because I am indecisive and I can't make decisions. So why choose one type of campus when Rutgers has all four? And I'm very into research, and I did a little research myself, just looking into Rutgers and all that the professors are doing. And there are so many opportunities to learn and get exposure to labs or research settings, stuff like that. And I feel like it is a great way to set yourself up for focus in STEM because of how much hands-on experience you actually get.
Thank you, Lily. Would anybody else like to share why they chose Rutgers?
I can go. So
Okay,
as
go.
mentioned before, I'm an out-of-state student. I grew up in Taiwan and moved to Ohio in like 5 years ago. So I went to high school in Ohio, and when I was in my senior year, I was like applying to colleges, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of Ohio. So I didn't want to stay in Ohio at all. So out of the 8 colleges I applied to, they were all out of state schools. And my final decisions were between Penn State and Rutgers. And I went on the college tour to Rutgers, and oh my God, I love the campus. The campus is so pretty. And I remember I came to visit a campus around like the cherry blossom season. So it was very amazing. And it's kind of funny because I didn't like the reason why I applied to Rutgers was actually because my dad, he was like, oh my God, this school managed to invite the President Obama to one of the graduation a few years back ago. So he fell in love with Rutgers, and I was like, okay, I'll apply, and I'm here, and I love it.
That's a great
We're
story.
gonna make Belle a dean at the end of the session.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So thank you very much. Well, that's a great story, right? So I see that Victoria addressed this Max's question, but maybe this is a good question to kind of throw out there. Where do the hands-on learning take place? Maybe if a couple of the students can share. Maybe Victoria, did you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So I briefly touched upon it in my answer in the chat. However, SEBS is unique in that it has an experience-based learning requirement for all their students. Usually that can be accomplished through an internship, study abroad, or as I said, research. I'm currently at my lab now, actually. I'm a GH Cook Scholar, so I did that program, and I also have been doing my honors college capstone. So that's where you develop a whole project and carry it out to its finish, and you write a poster on it, you write a paper on it. So no matter what your major is, no matter what department you're in, you can do any of the research offered here at Rutgers. So for example, I'm just a plain old biology major, but all of the labs that I've been involved in are neuroscience, and there's a specific neuroscience major. So you can mix and match whatever your interests are, and you can get involved in research in a couple of ways. I put the RESTI link in the chat. So that's like a department and part of Rutgers that helps match students to faculty looking for undergrad research assistants. I actually did not do RESTI. I actually just had a list of professors that I thought did interesting research, reached out to them, and whoever reached back out to me, I partnered with them, and thankfully it worked out. I've been here for about 3 years now, but I love doing research at Rutgers. I know Lily also did research, so maybe she can touch a little bit more about her experience.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled upon my experience-based education through, I wanted to volunteer on the Rutgers farm my sophomore year. I had a kind of easier schedule, so I thought, I could do a little here and there. And next thing I knew, I was getting an email asking to apply for the internship. And I applied and I got in, and I ended up harvesting peppers on the Rutgers farm. And then I did research on a weed called tiger nuts, which you can also eat. And a professor just so happened to be working on tiger nuts as well. And so I collaborated with him. And actually our research was published and presented at the national level on my behalf. And I don't know if you heard this earlier, but I'm studying environmental science and focusing on environmental health. So that doesn't really connect to farming and peppers and weeds and all that. But I got the experience of doing hands-on physical labor, but then also the research and the statistical methods and formulating a research paper and poster. So the hands-on experience it's meant to be broad so that you aren't focusing in one specific category. So you're getting, just a great, like a large approach to it all.
Yeah, I just dropped some few pictures, but it takes too long to load. The picture are the dorms that I lived in first year, and the building was New Gibbons on Cook Dock, and those are just exactly how it looks like within dorms. And as you see, you have desk, you have like you have a little bookshelf, and you also have like a storage room there. And in terms of, okay, so like come back to the hands-on experience, I actually applied to a RESTI program this year for next fall. So basically what you will browse through the website and you will see a list of different projects done by different professors, and they they will kind of have like a little introduction of what the project is, something like like exploring lipid membrane metabolism, things like like a gene editing, something like or maybe just things like writing the journals, or there's different areas of studying and programs where you don't have to be applying to the one that is suits your major. You can I'm majoring biotech, and I can also apply to programs in social science research. I can also apply to something about like therapy in child, or or things like cinema studies, or like a language or translation, things like that. So there's have a lot of different programs that you can apply to, and I think it's very interesting to help you to get like a hands-on practical experience besides taking classes, and I think it's worth exploring.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. So in the interest of time, I know that it's amazing to hear from our students, but I want to be mindful of our participants' time. I want to leave, I know that Lily, you have to go because these students actually volunteer their time to be tour guides as well as our ambassadors, which is a program where our students are able to help us out with events like this to give our incoming students their perspective on what it is to be a student. They help us out with open house events, really anything, and they're amazing. But I want to ask you guys to just if everybody can just leave these participants with a thought of what would be one piece of advice that you would give to an incoming freshman. So Lily, I'll start with you because I know that you have to get going.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what I would say too. My advice is to meet as many people as you can, because Rutgers is full of amazing, diverse people, but then SEBS itself are people that are like-minded and passionate about their studies and STEM and want to make the world a healthier, better place. And so I found my most memorable memories were from interacting with people on the bus or in the dining hall, just little passing by highs or how you doing. And so I would really recommend that, you kind of break out of your shell a little bit and say hi to a stranger or compliment them on their shoes, just something to spark a conversation. But it was nice talking to all you guys today.
Thank you, Lily. Lily is actually off to be a part of one of our tours, our last tour for the spring. So Belle, if you could just share one piece of advice that you would have for an incoming freshman.
I would say, don't be afraid to do anything, because this is your college life, and 4 years really do pass by really fast. I literally just feel like I just graduated from high school like yesterday. I still have that senioritis from high school, and next semester I'm gonna be a senior. So don't be afraid. Take your time to like do all the things you want, connect with people, build connections, and enjoy your college life.
Thank you very much. Seems like the common thread, right? Building connections. All right, Serena.
I would say explore your talk to and join some student club and organizations. Rutgers have a lot of, I think, over 100 different organizations. And different things that you can do, and through talking to people and professor and faculty members, you will learn a lot about your interest. And and do cherish every bit of moment in college life, because it's really it went by fast.
Thank you, Serena. And last but certainly not least, Victoria.
Yeah, sure. I can just agree from the top that 4 years did really fly by. I graduate in 2 weeks, and I feel like I literally just went to graduation from high school yesterday. My one piece of advice is like learn to prioritize yourself throughout these next 4 years. I think especially in STEM, it's very easy to get caught up in getting the A or, doing as well as you can in the classes. But sometimes I feel like people can sacrifice themselves for those grades. So I would really take some time to schedule like your self-care throughout every day or every week, or make sure you're involved in a club that is purely just for your pleasure and not to boost your resume or boost your chances of getting into grad school. You have to really make sure you're doing fine before everything else on your resume does fine, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. I think that's something that's important for everyone, right? The self-care. It just makes us all around a healthier person. So I'm just going to share my screen one more time. Right now, actually, we are wrapping up our spring session tours. Today is actually our last session, but we will have some tours in the summer. But we hope that we were able to answer your questions, and that if you do have any pending questions that maybe we have not addressed here, or you think about it after we log off, you can email us at prospective@sebs.rutgers.edu. We have staff that monitors that mailbox, so we'll be able to get back to you. Even if you want to email us in the evening, we'll be able to get back to you at the start of business hours the following day. You can, visit our website at sebs.rutgers.edu. And also, if you want to follow us on Instagram at sebs_advising. This particular QR code, obviously, since I mentioned today is our last tour for the spring, But like I said, if you have any pending questions or anything else, please feel free to reach out to our office. And that actually concludes our program for today. Dean Traxler, if you wanted to add anything, or Dean Ventola, Dean Carlson, Dr. Hyunjin.
But for me, it's always just, I know, again, that May 1st deadline is coming for a lot of you. So it's hard. It's hard to know always kind of where the right place is. I'm a big believer that there's lots of right places, and it's really a lot about what you bring and your willingness to come and engage and really kind of become part of a community. I will say that I do think a lot of it also is a feel. I think people find that hard. They want to kind of crunch the numbers and come up with one answer. And I think often you can't go wrong going with the feel of a place. Hopefully you've gotten a sense of the place and the people here. It's a great community. It's a really nurturing community, and positive one, I think, for the students, certainly for the staff and those of us who are really lucky to work with amazing students. So we hope you've gotten a sense of that, and certainly hope to see all of you on campus in the fall. But please follow up with us if we can help as you make those last decisions, and hopefully push the button to say that you're coming to join us.
I would just add to that, yeah, we would love to see all of you in the fall 21 at SEBS. And it actually is a very small school. It's a small college, and students get a lot of help, attention, and activities with the faculty and staff. So you have that small community within the large Rutgers, and in the large Rutgers, you can use all of the services at Rutgers, a study abroad program, the student clubs, and so forth, so on. So that combination is something that students have told us, the faculty and staff, how much they love the school, because it's just a dynamic place that way. So thank you for coming today. Again, we hope to see you in the fall.
I guess my words of wisdom are not to make academics the only reason that you choose a college, to make sure that there's lots, I see all the students are nodding, to make sure that there's lots of activities that you're going to enjoy, and that you get involved with clubs and organizations. I put a link in about getting involved. We have over 400 clubs and organizations on campus. Some of them are academic oriented, but a lot of them are just fun oriented. No matter what you're interested in, you should be able to find a club or organization that's also interested, that for you, or you can, if you can't find one for you and you have enough students, a critical mass of students that want to start a club, you can start your own club. And I'll say that I did go to what was Cook College, which was the precursor of SEBS. And I have connections and friends that have lasted me a lifetime, that we do things together. We go on vacations together. We're going to retire together. So college is really is going to be something that stays with you the rest of your life.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you to our students for all of your perspective and your help and your insight. And again, if you have any additional questions after this, please feel free to email us at perspective@sebs.rutgers.edu. I put it in the chat box. But for now, thank you again for joining us, and we hope that you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thanks, students.